at the little ceremony when Buzz Aldrin was given the key to the city and the plaque and I guess the neckerchief from Troop 12 and the birthday celebration with his sister Maddie. And we video recorded the whole thing, and I did, and my wife Janet took pictures, and we put it together. And we'd like to present to the council members, the mayor, I guess, a piece of history of the event. It's a gift. Will you come up, just hand it to you? Would you take it, or? In fact, I noticed there are 10 people on the whole dais here, or whatever, and you have 10. You can have one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was nice, very nice.
A pleasure.
Remember that.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Thank you very, very much. Good evening. Frank Rebecki, 398 Upper Mountain Avenue. I'm not used to looking up, as you can imagine, so bear with me. Can you hear me?
Could you give us your last name again?
Sure. It's Rebecki, R-U-B-A-C-K-Y. Tonight I want to share my concern that the growth of Montclair State University is not adequately addressed in the current draft of the master plan. I believe Montclair State is the elephant in the room, and the room I'm speaking of is the north end of Montclair. This is my chief concern. I don't see a 2035 vision of Montclair State's imprint on Montclair Heights. Montclair Heights is not identified as a focus area. As such, there are no supporting exhibits such as maps of current or future land assembly or zoning. The only economic impact figures besides tonight cited are the generic county and state level figures. There's no discussion of New Jersey Department of Transportation's plan for Clove Road, nor MSU's memorandum of understanding with the EPA. Let me read you some facts I've compiled about Montclair State's growth and land use. Montclair State has built 500,000 square feet of academic space the last 10 years. Most of that was added after the 2006 master plan re-exam. MSU will complete another 250,000 in the next 2 years and plans to add another 150,000 square feet after that by 2017. So from 1998 to 2017, Montclair State University will have more than doubled their total physical plant to 1.7 million square feet. Montclair State has assembled over 8 acres of mostly contiguous, public-zoned, tax-exempt properties on the south side of Normal Avenue. All are currently low density. This land includes a surface parking lot with over 100 parking spots on a prime site that is adjacent to the R1 zone, larger than the township's Bellevue Plaza lot. These 8 acres are within 1,000 feet of Montclair Heights train station. Sound familiar? Both Montclair State student and faculty population has increased 45% since 1998. Montclair State plans to further increase non-resident student enrollment in the next 2 years by over 1,500 to over 15,000 non-resident students in total. There's an admission of both the available traffic studies, New Jersey transit ridership levels for MSU train and bus stops. Montclair State has stated a strategic goal of developing public and private partnerships and achieving future growth. I need about 45 more seconds, if that's okay. MSU's own consultant has cited the lack of developable land as restricting further expansion. So, to bring it in summary, I have 5 suggestions that I would like you to consider. First, I'd like to make Montclair Heights a focus area in the master plan. Not adequately acknowledging in the master plan Montclair Heights section, and specifically MSU's growth within it, the township may undermine our recourse under Section 40 of municipal land use law for future development conflicts that may arise with MSU. Second, require the planning board to address MSU potentially what I call upzoning their Normal Avenue property. The development of Upper Montclair's Bellevue Plaza can provide a reasonable upzoning justification for MSU to develop their 8 acres south of Normal with similar 5 to 7-story or even higher buildings. Third, the council needs to educate itself, and I mean this with total respect, on the spectrum of private-public partnerships and their possible impact on the township. MSU can, by using private-public partnerships for facility development, for example, circumvent the municipal land use section. Fourth, the council should explore pilot agreements with MSU to share the cost of continuing growth. Also, MSU will create private-public partnerships that generate revenue. MSU has tax-exempt status, and it will still apply. A few cities and towns and university towns have begun negotiating pilot agreements with universities to offset the load on municipal services and infrastructure. And fifth and last, the College of New Jersey may represent a perceived conflict of interest in this specific regard. And I suggest it might be time to sever their participation at this point in the process of the master plan. Thank you again for your time. Yes.
Can you please put a copy of the remarks Thank you.
Would it be possible for us all to get, can you email us so we can all have a copy?
I will email you a PDF copy
Thank you.
tonight or tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing no one else this evening, we'll close the public comment period. Thank you all for your comments. Anything from council committees? Okay. Pending ordinances, Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to note that all of the pending ordinances have been published and posted according to law. The first is an ordinance amending the Montclair Code, Chapter 347, regarding signage.
Thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to address the council or this proposed ordinance? Seeing no one, I'll close the hearing. Roll call, please.
Councilor Baskerville.
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock.
Yes.
Councilor McMahon.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Yes.
Councilor Schlager.
Yes.
Councilor Spiller.
Yes.
Mayor Jackson.
Yes.
The next is an ordinance amending Chapter 347 of the Township Code, also related to zoning, which provides a definition of non-profit institutional uses.
Is there anyone present who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing no one, I'll close the hearing. Roll call, please.
Councilor Baskerville.
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock.
Yes.
Councilor McMahon.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Yes.
Councilor Schlager.
Yes.
Councilor Spiller.
Yes.
Mayor Jackson.
Yes.
Next is an ordinance amending Chapter 202, Article 3 of the Township Code, referring to land use procedures, specifically provisions applicable to both the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Adjustment to update procedures and variance fees.
Is there anyone present who wishes to address this ordinance? Seeing no one, I'll close the hearing. Roll call, please.
Councilor Baskerville.
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock.
Yes.
Councilor McMahon.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Yes.
Councilor Schlager.
Yes.
Councilor Spiller.
Yes.
Mayor Jackson.
Yes.
Next is an ordinance amending Montclair Eastern Gateway redevelopment plan.
Is there anyone present who wishes to be heard in relation to the proposed ordinance? Yes. Please give your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Tessa Schultz, and 533 Grove Street. I'm here on behalf of the Housing Commission. I'm the chair of the Housing Commission. Okay. Sorry. We just wanted to present our recommendations for the Eastern Gateway redevelopment plan. A copy of our recommendation was provided previously this afternoon, and if anyone doesn't have one, I have extra copies with me. Our recommendations are based on conversations that we had with Richard Poulton when he came to the Housing Commission back in February of 2012. He came to the commission to basically present his proposal for the development of the adjacent property to the Montclarian, which, as we all know, he also owns. At that time, it was discussed amongst the Housing Commission and Mr. Poulton, and at least from the Housing Commission standpoint, he was in agreement with the following recommendations. 20% would be set aside for affordable rental housing as per the requirements of the IZO. Of that 20%, 10% would be located on-site. Of the additional 10%, that would be achieved through extending the affordability restrictions on the 12 units of low-income rentals that currently exist in the Montclarian. As you may be aware, there are only 12 remaining units in the Montclarian, all of which are low-income units, and those units are set to expire in 2019. So, as part of the agreement in allowing the units to be placed off-site, it was discussed that he would be, and he seemed very open to extending the affordability of those 12 units. The timing was, kind of thrown back and forth, and it wasn't exactly agreed to. We would put forth to the town attorney as to how long potentially we could extend the affordability. The commission's position would be that we would like to have it extended into perpetuity. However, we're not clear as to whether that's legally allowable. But we would ask that it would be extended as far as legally possible. And then in addition, that those 12 units that are having the affordability restrictions extended, that the extension should be as of the time that the other 12 units affordability is set. The 10%, it should be at the same time. It should be simultaneous. So even though those units aren't set to expire in 2019, if the development is done in, say, 2015, all the deed restrictions should be recorded at the same time, and it should be tacked on. So if it's a 60-year term, then we should tack on the additional 3 years that would already be currently existing under the 2019. And then the final
This is basically what you're saying is let the current ones, which expire in 2019, let's just say, run their full course, and then the 30, whatever that is, X years gets down.
Well, no, actually, I'm saying to not let them run the full course, that they should, the new deed restrictions should be recorded simultaneously with the deed restrictions on the on-site units, so that we're not waiting until 2019 when that may create problems if he comes up with, objections or whatever, that they should all be extended at the same time, and so as not to lose the affordability for the time that we have, whatever the agreement is, we should tack on whatever is still remaining of the term that is unexpired.
We don't want to lose the 3, let's say this case, the 3 years.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. Okay. And then the final recommendation would be that the 12 units that are currently existing in the Montclarian be refurbished or brought up to a similar style, materials, and furnishings of the other units, because under the IZO, they have to be comparable units. And the units in the Montclarian were built, I believe, back in 1986, so they probably could use a little bit of refreshing to make them on par with the other units. So those are our recommendations. Back in, after we had met with Mr. Poulton, we submitted a memorandum to the town council at that time on March 12th, 2012, which I misput in my memo, my cover memo. But, so you see a full, attached to our memo is a full recommendation that was provided to the town council back in February of 2012. Obviously, this is a different town council, so for your benefit, we've provided that memo for you to see our recommendations, and we basically are standing behind the recommendations that we made back in 2012. Based on our conversation with Mr. Poulton, he was open to that at the time, and we would hope that the Economic Development Committee, or whichever committee is going to be making the final decision, please take into consideration our recommendations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to leave a copy of your remarks?
Absolutely.
We have,
we already have
we all
it.
have copies.
Yes, you do.
I have a copy, I'll give her a copy.
Okay, thank you. The next pending ordinance is an ordinance to...
We haven't done this one yet. Yeah, we're still
Oh,
doing...
I'm sorry, we're
Yeah,
moving
I'm
along
sorry.
here. Counselor Baskerville.
Hold on. Is anybody else, is anyone else wishing to be heard on the ordinance?
I just can't.
Counselor Baskerville?
Thank you, Mayor Jackson. At this time, I would please like to request that we carry this public hearing to July 19th.
July 9th.
July 9th. As noted earlier, the ordinance, there was some confusion with the way the ordinance was listed on our website and in the previous paper correspondence. And I'd like to thank Chairman Schultz for her outstanding presentation, and this will also give us an opportunity to digest the information that she's presented to us, because we just received the documents today. So I'd like to make a motion, please, that we carry this to July 9th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So this hearing will be continued on July 9th. Thank you. Madam Clerk, now you may go.
Thank you. So anxious. And this is an ordinance to amend Chapter 297 of the Township Code. This part of the code refers to honorary street designations.
Thank you. Anyone present wishing to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing no one, I will close the hearing and ask for a vote, please.
Counselor Baskerville.
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock.
Yes.
Counselor McMahon.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Yes.
Counselor Slager.
Yes.
Counselor Spiller.
Yes.
Mayor Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you. The next ordinance amends the traffic ordinance specifically to change 2-hour parking to 4 hours on the south side of Gordonhurst between Park Street and North Fullerton Ave.
Anyone present wishing to be heard on this ordinance? I will, we should close the hearing, and Councilor Baskerville?
Yes, I'd just like to confirm, I believe we received a petition that the residents were in favor of this. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Baskerville.
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock.
Yes.
Counselor McMahon.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Yes.
Counselor Slager.
Yes.
Counselor Spiller.
Yes.
Mayor Jackson.
Yes.
The final pending ordinance amends the Montclair Center Gateway Redevelopment Plan Phase 1.
Anyone present who wishes to comment on this ordinance? I'll close the public hearing, and roll call, please.
Counselor Baskerville.
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock.
Yes.
Counselor McMahon.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Yes.
Counselor Slager.
Yes.
Counselor Spiller.
Yes.
Mayor Jackson.
Yes. We have previously assigned these new business ordinances, so I'm not going to call names, I just, you know who you are.
Okay, so this is me. By way of background, apparently in historic preservation, we neglected to preserve the 3 of our most historic places, so this is to fix that. This is an ordinance designating the Israel Crane House and the Nathaniel Crane House, both at 110 Orange Road, and the Charles Schultz House at 30 North Mountain Avenue as historic landmarks pursuant to the Historic Preservation Ordinance of the Township of Montclair, and I so move.
Second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Baskerville.
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock.
Yes.
Counselor McMahon.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Yes.
Counselor Schlager.
Yes.
Counselor Spiller.
Yes.
Mayor Jackson.
Yes.
Aye. This is a very much needed ordinance. This ordinance is an ordinance governing the maintenance of vacant properties in the Township of Montclair. This ordinance basically sets some minimal standards of accountability on the owners regarding vacant properties. It gives guidelines regarding the owner needing to tell code enforcement within X number of days that the house will be vacant, and standards. It also gives us some fees that are associated with registering properties as vacant. It's an extensive ordinance. I would suggest that if people want details, that you please go online, but it does say that we have 60 days after a building becomes vacant to register your property, or 30 days to after assuming ownership of a vacant property. Fee schedules initially to register begin at $500, and then there are increments for fines. The fines will be associated with things like failure to register on time and failure to maintain your property in a secure fashion that leaves your property in a way that would make your neighbors and all of us proud to be in the same neighborhood with your vacant property. I'd like to move this ordinance. I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Counselor McMahon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Just as a matter of protocol, Madam Clerk, do we need to do roll calls on these, or is a...
No.
Sorry?
This doesn't, not on the initial reading.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to introduce an ordinance establishing an abandoned property list and authorizing the public officer under the Abandoned Property Rehabilitation Act, and I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. This is an ordinance appropriating $210,000 from capital surplus for the acquisition of various equipment, including surveillance cameras, fiber hardware, bunker gear for the fire department, and garage equipment, as well as the refurbishment of a garbage truck.
You'd want
In by the Township of Montclair in the County of Essex.
a roll call on the appropriation.
Yes, this we should roll call.
Okay, so
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Counselor McMahon?
yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. The next ordinance is an ordinance to supplementing Chapter 204, Library Property of the Municipal Code, and this ordinance prohibits smoking anywhere on library grounds, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, I'd like to offer an amendment to the Township of Montclair, the ordinance of no smoking in the library. I'd like to offer an amendment to include no smoking on any municipal property.
Is there a second? I think the sentiment of what this is, we should explore, but I think one of the things we wanted to do was just kind of get a more broad policy, and I believe I think it actually was the Service Committee was going to take a look at coming up with a more, because there are other implications there, a more broad policy. I think rather than doing it here, I think the idea of being listed to the library, we know that everybody's got a clear understanding of that, and then have the Service Committee come back with recommendations for the, I think that's where we left it before.
That's my understanding
Yeah.
as well, Mayor, and thank you for bearing with me. I just wanted on the record that I do, I am suggesting that, and especially we have language, it says exposure to secondhand smoke causes death and disease, and I just, would like it on the record that I'm suggesting that we have a broad-based, and anytime we're talking about death and disease, I think we should have it as, broad-based as we can possibly regulate it.
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to say, I think we should go ahead with this as it's written now, but I want to see us explore broadening it, because all public buildings could be maybe a pilot, or we should do something to really make people realize the secondhand smoke that bothers people is terrific outside in the hallways, everywhere in public buildings. So I'd like us to pursue that as a committee, and then we report back to the council.
I think that's fair. Yep.
Good.
I think everybody
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, could I just make 2 quick points just on this? One is that besides prohibiting smoking on library grounds, the way this is written, it also prohibits smoking on any town property within 50 feet of library grounds, basically to catch the sidewalks around around the library as well. So it goes beyond library grounds if the property's township. If it's private property, we're not doing it. The second thing is that the whereases are just short, but each of the whereases is backed up. We have it all documented with articles, medical journals, whatnot, and I can give the council all the documentation before the next meeting. Okay?
Thank
While
you.
we're still discussing this, I noticed under section 204-9, reasonable smoking distance required, there are 2 letter A's.
Can't hear him.
It should be A and B, right? A and B.
Oh,
What do we
okay.
do?
Okay.
204.9. Correction.
With that change,
Yeah,
and the
good.
efforts of the Services Committee, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I think it's my turn. This is an ordinance establishing a chronic nuisance property regulation reform. If there is a property in the township that is deemed a chronic nuisance property, which would entail a property presenting grave health, safety, welfare concerns, or tremendous negative impact on the quality of life, safety, and health of a neighborhood. And if the police chief of the town determines that 3 or more of these nuisance activities have occurred at the premise during a 12-month period, the chief will notify these premises owner, and I believe it's a minimum of a $500 offense for each of those nuisance activities.
Actually, if I could, I just to correct that, so it's
Yeah.
clear. The fine is actually once they are notified of the nuisance, they develop a corrective action plan. And the abatement plan, the fine comes in if they do not complete the abatement plan, not for the initial violation.
How long is the time period that they have to?
That will be when the chief and the property owner sit down, they'll develop that whole process.
Okay. And, let's see. Okay. But if there are 3 or more in one 12-month period, then the town steps in.
That's right.
And tries to alleviate the problem. Okay. Well, will this be cleaned up a little then when it comes for? Because it doesn't say that. Where does it say that? That if the property owner.
Failure of the property owner to adhere to the abatement plan shall make the owner subject to fines in the amounts as follows.
Yes, but where does it say that it has a time period to alleviate to?
Oh, no, what would happen is the action plan, when they sit down with the chief, depending on what those actions are, we couldn't put it in the ordinance because there will be very property specific of what the action plans is. He develops that plan in terms of how long will it take to abate this, whatever that violation or to make those corrections. That will be part of his plan.
So it's subject to the police chief?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I so move.
Second.
I would do a roll call.
Discussion?
Yes, please.
Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Mayor and Council, our attorney requested a roll call on this.
Okay, we're having discussion.
Yes, I think that I heard you correctly, Manager, but I'm wondering if it would be possible for us to get the list of violations prior to having our final vote on this, because I think that would be very helpful. This can be very, just very objective, where, and it would help me if I had an opportunity to look at the list of the violations.
Actually, if you look at this section where it talks about nuisance, and maybe this is where it's under the definitions. If you look at nuisance activities, it's defined the violation of Title 2C, which is, what's that, the criminal code of the state of New Jersey, or any municipal code violation.
Okay, I'm having a little problem following, and that's on what page?
Maybe I
I
should,
agree. I don't.
On the first page,
Enumerates the violations.
it says basically that a nuisance activity is anything that's listed under Title 2C of our New Jersey Criminal Code.
Okay.
And also, anything that's a violation of our municipal ordinance.
Oh, okay, and then they
That's
gave us the
revised.
list of 2C, the list of 2C is somewhere attached here?
No, it's not attached.
That's like
We just
3
referenced
volumes
it.
of books. You don't really want to see all of it.
Okay, so this is a very extensive volume, and if I go online, I can look at these?
Yes.
Okay, I just, before I have a final vote on anything, I just want to make sure that I'm clear about, what these nuisance, things are.
What I'll provide the council, just so you have a better idea, what we try to do is to kind of capture, and said, once you do a list, if you miss something, it kind of handicaps the officers, but what I can do is kind of give you a breakout, what are the main chapter C2, what would be the main ideas that would create a nuisance before the
Thank you,
next
that would be
meeting.
very helpful, Manager, thank you.
I would just like to comment, Mr. Mayor, if I may. I do also concur with Councilwoman Baskerville that it is important to look specifically there. I'm glad she will, and I know that we'll all be doing our due diligence there. However, I do think that this, as it's introduced here, and the purpose of it is a good one in that many neighbors, residents in these areas where these buildings are, that there are chronic problems, have been really reaching out to say what can be done. And I know that Montclair is a very safe place. It's a great place to be out and about. But this really is something that will, I think, give us a tool, give the manager a tool, give police a tool, give all the tools necessary to go at specific areas that are constant repeat offenders and really try and come up with a solution to help the residents that are also living with that come out from under some of that shadow. So I think it's a good attempt. I appreciate you putting that forward, and I think once we have reviewed everything and at the second reading, hopefully people will feel comfortable with it as well.
I certainly agree with you, Councilman Spiller, but again, so is my understanding that these violations or whatever, they already exist under this very thick booklet of things, and this is just giving the policemen further
If I may-
permission to do what they should be doing already?
Let me walk through it again. I think it's important that we go from the top in
Okay.
terms of what this ordinance does.
Good.
Under this ordinance, what it does is where there is a premise in which there are illegal activities, violations of codes, what this does is gives the police chief a tool. If that's happening chronically at a location, what he's able to do is, when there are 3 offenses of the criminal code happen at a property, he requires the property owner, well, he can actually, it'll be his discretion to call the property owner in, to sit down with the police chief and develop a abatement plan. And that could be as simple as creating a plan where the property owner comes in, he sits down with the property owner and requests things like a list of the residents within the property and a signed document saying if anyone other than these people are on this property, we will prosecute as a trespasser. There could be things as simple as that. What this really does, it doesn't really go to the criminal code, it just gives him a tool to bring someone in to develop a plan to abate the violations on those properties. Now, if they
can't do that now, without this, they don't have the
No.
ability to.
They would have to actually deal with the actual criminal offense only.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, I'm clear.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Resolutions and actually items 1, 2, and actually 1 and 2 are the consent agendas. We're kind of going through this. I think number 3, because we're canceling funds, we probably should do that as a separate item. So I move by consent agenda items number 1 and 2, which are authorizing a grant agreement for the State of New Jersey and authorizing the township tax collector to prepare and mail estimated tax bills in accordance with the Public Law 1994. I so move.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 3, Deputy Mayor Russo, you have that? Came in late, you missed your calling, so I'm going to give you 1. Since you're part of the team. You have that?
Somebody can hand that to me.
You
Okay.
have it?
Township of Montclair bond ordinance funds canceled June 18, 2013. School improvements, general capital fund, various capital improvements, 84,760. This is it? Is this what I should be reading, or is this the schedule? Resolution canceling bond ordinance funds. Whereas the Township of Montclair performs certain work, constructs various public improvements, and purchases various equipment and/or materials for the Township for public improvements and water improvements. Whereas the Township of Montclair, in order to provide such public improvements, must fund the various items through general and water capital ordinances and by the issuance of bonds and notes for the necessary funds. And whereas upon completion of the various general and water improvements and/or purchases, all of the money provided for may not have been needed or spent in order to complete the purpose required in the original bond ordinance. And whereas New Jersey law permits the cancellation of such original bond ordinance after completion and provides that any remaining monies in such ordinance may be transferred to the general capital and/or water capital fund balance be utilized in an appropriate fashion thereafter. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Township of Montclair and the County of Essex that certain such ordinances as listed on Schedule A attached are hereby declared to be completed and canceled, and all funds remaining shall be allocated to the general capital and/or water capital fund balances provided and allowed by law and determined by the Chief Financial Officer. I so move.
Second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Counselor McMahon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Schlager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Number 4 is a resolution authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage consumption licenses. Be it resolved by the Council of the Township of Montclair and the County of Essex that subject to compliance by the licensees with the provisions of RS 33:1-25, the municipal clerk be, and she hereby is authorized to issue plenary retail alcoholic beverage consumption licenses terminating June 30, 2014 to the following: One Black One Plaza, DLB Lounge at 300 Bloomfield Avenue, Grafton Inns at 114 Walnut Street, The Office of Montclair LLC, 619 Bloomfield Avenue, Sun Restaurant Corporation, which is inactive at the moment, Tierney's Tavern, 134 Valley Road, LSZ Inc., 30 Park Street, Montclair Food USA Corp., 608 Valley Road, Rosen Montclair LLC, 5 Seymour Street, Tromba Inc., 60 Post Square, Dick Grabowski LLC, inactive. And I would move this resolution with the exception of the Office of Montclair LLC. We sent a letter to the office requesting.
Yes, there, yeah, I was just going to.
Let me finish.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We had sent a letter to the office requesting some recognition of some problems that had occurred there recently. I have not seen a response. Oh, is there somebody there? Okay, that we asked before, that's why I asked the question. Could you please come up and thank you and address that? I appreciate it.
Okay, Brittany Hush, 619 Bloomfield Ave, for the office. Okay,
Could you just give us your role there? What's your
Assistant General Manager. All right, I'm not sure what I'm addressing. I just got a letter saying that I had to come, so I'm not sure the incident.
The date was, I think, about 2 weeks ago. There was an incident in which a number of our officers had to go. I think there was an altercation involving 10 or more people. At the same time, we had another major incident down. We actually had to call backup from Verona to help out with the situation. And the prior concern is that we've seen this before. We've seen it with the Diva Lounge at one point. We also saw it with the South Park bar, where the instances. We'd like to basically nip this in the bud because it's sort of like a deja vu thing. And I think that historically, I don't mean to pick on the office, but because this gentleman's been a very good citizen. But the reason for wanting you to come in and communicate to the office is that we just want to make sure that you're cognizant of the fact that this has happened before, and not just at your establishment, but at others, and it quickly sort of got out of control. And we just want to make sure that you're aware of it, and that when we have this hearing a year from now, that there won't be something more serious.
No, understandable, and we're definitely open to suggestions. The incident that happened 2 weeks ago, only 2 of the people involved were actually inside the office. So there was a number of people that attempted to come in, and we did not allow them in. There was another bottle involved. Nothing was actually from the office. So it was stuff that people were hanging out either outside in the front, because we don't allow people in the back, or on the street. And whatever happened, I'm not sure how it happened, they turned and they came into our back parking lot. So we actually also went through our videotapes and went through everything, and only 2 of the people involved, like I said, were actually inside. So, you're welcome. But we are open to suggestions. We did, try to take one step ahead and change the music a little bit. We keep the lights on 24/7 now. We have security. We close a little bit earlier. But, yes.
Thank you. That sounds like a good start. I appreciate that.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brittany,
Just so I remove my comment, my objection to comment.
Okay.
Brittany, my question to you, or my suggestion to you is this, because the past, the reference the mayor made to some past establishments, they started out very good and they were very positive, and then there were instances, and then there was lack of response to those instances, and then what happened is things got worse and worse, and then really these places closed, they actually had to be penalized. So to try to stop any problems, just be on top of them and be proactive and watch what's happening and try to do what you can to prevent before it gets to the point where we have to take some action.
Agreed. At the end of the day, we're still a restaurant, so that's our main goal. So
And good
yes.
food, too.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
I so move the continuation of these licenses through June 30, 2014.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor and Council, I'd just like to note, before we continue with the distribution licenses, that all of the licenses being renewed this evening have received positive reports from the customary police, fire, health, and building departments. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may just want to make the record clear, I know you said you withdrew your objections, make it clear that the office was included in the group that was
Yes.
continued, correct?
Yes.
Just want to have that on the record.
Okay, this is a resolution authorizing renewal of alcoholic beverage distribution licenses. Be it resolved by the Council of the Township of Montclair and the County of Essex that subject to compliance by the licensees with the provisions of RS 33:1-25, the municipal clerk be and has hereby authorized to issue plenary retail alcoholic beverage distribution licenses terminating June 30th, 2014 to the following establishments: Finkel Incorporated, which is Magnolia's Wine and Spirits, 42 Upper Mountain; Gayatari, which is Grove Liquors at 131 Grove Street; Muranol Incorporated, which is A&M Liquors, 9 Park Street; Romney Liquor Shop, 227 Glenridge Avenue; Allegra's Fine Wines, which is in Montevino on 30 Church Street; Santarum, which is Townhouse Liquors at 115 Watchung Avenue; Von 5, which is Engelbeck's Fine Wine, 621 Valley Road; Usanage ABC Holding, which is Montclair Wine Cellar at 440 Bloomfield Avenue; Merit Wines and Liquors, 599 Bloomfield Avenue; and Avish Spirits, 6567 Glenridge Avenue, and I so move.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Number 6 is a resolution authorizing payment of funds to Montclair Emergency Services for the homeless in the amount of $12,500. On March 12th, 2013, all of my council colleagues voted in favor of allocating $12,500 to MESH for services, and I was opposed to it at that time because I felt that that number was such a minuscule act or gesture at a time when I was very much in favor of us trying to encourage our services for our homeless and hungry to be in the Social Security building. I was hoping that we could think in a much larger scale about what we can do in this township collaboratively to address our rising problem with homelessness and hunger. And that was not the shared vision at that time. And so since that time, I'm going to join my colleagues, and I certainly am glad that this resolution will provide $12,500 for the MESH program to provide respite care. It's definitely, in my mind, just a stopgap measure, and after we allocate this so that they can continue to provide the services that they provide, I am going to join with my colleagues on the Services Committee, and we will have further discussions about what we can do to make sure we're providing the best services that we can for our hungry and our homeless. Whereas the township has provided in their 2013 budget an appropriation in the amount of $12,500 for Montclair Emergency Services for the homeless to provide respite care. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township Council does hereby authorize the payment of $12,500 to Montclair Emergency Services for the homeless to provide respite care for the remainder of 2013, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Baskerville?
Yes.
Counselor Hurlock?
Yes.
Counselor McMahon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Counselor Slaber?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. So, item 7 is a resolution requesting the planning board to evaluate block 3213, lot 2, and block 4202, lots 4 and 4.01 to determine if they should be designated as an area in need of redevelopment, and I so move.
Second.
Question?
Discussion?
Yes, please. I've been trying very hard to get some clarification about the intricacies and the differences between in need of redevelopment and rehabilitation. And I thought that I was clear on that until I saw that the Eastern Gateway proposal, which is an area in need of rehabilitation, also allows for a redevelopment plan. And so when I came here this evening, I was thinking that it was explained to me that the difference was that if we designate this in need in redevelopment, we are going to allow for a redevelopment plan to be established, but we can do that if it's in need of rehabilitation. So my question is, why would we want to designate it in need of redevelopment versus rehabilitation, which is the rest of the area we've already designated in need of rehabilitation? What types of things will be allowed if we designate this in need of redevelopment versus rehabilitation?
I think that one of the things that certainly can happen from the part of the study is that they can determine, the planning board can determine that it should be an area in need of rehabilitation versus redevelopment. And it's part of the study to see what's going on. But the other major difference is that this, the other one, the Eastern Development one, is more, it's just essentially vacant lot. Whereas this is a structure that, the structure's on it, there's other, so it's essentially already developed. The question becomes, should it be, what I'm saying, it's very difficult for area redevelopment to be a lot, market essentially. So to declare it redevelopment, it doesn't seem to, by definition, doesn't really rise to the occasion. This may or may not, I don't know, but that's a fundamental difference. But I don't know where SHA is concerned. That's what I think, that's the major difference.
Okay, and so in terms of what might be developed there, the redevelopment area, if it's designated in need of redevelopment versus rehabilitation, which would be consistent with the contiguous properties, then does it allow for any additional densities and heights? And if I understand correctly, when I had this discussion with the planner, I believe her answer to me was no, that it does not allow for any additional heights and densities that are not allowed under rehabilitation. Is that correct?
I'm not sure I put it.
Do you want me to address that?
Yes,
Did you-
please.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, the redevelopment plan made in an area in need of rehabilitation or an area in need of redevelopment can establish those standards, and there's no difference the fact that something's in need of rehabilitation as opposed to need of redevelopment doesn't change what standards can be developed, the height of the buildings, the bulk, et cetera. I mean, the real differences are the area in need of redevelopment gives the absolute most flexibility to the township to be able to deal with, negotiate with redevelopers. It also gives us the power to use the long-term tax exemption law and the power to use the eminent domain law. So it's the most efficacious category if the property qualifies, which is a determination for the planning. That's the basic reason to go that route, because it gives you the most options.
And so if the planning board decides that it does not meet the standards that are written today, not the standards that they are discussing for the future, if it does not meet the standards today for redevelopment, then would they consider it for rehabilitation?
They could, yes.
I mean, it would not preclude them, I guess, is the more specific question.
No.
From, okay. All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8. This is a resolution authorizing payment of $15,946.39 to R.J. Michaels and Company, Inc., pursuant to a guarantee to the County of Essex upon the defalcation of Neighborhood Child Care Center, Inc. Should I read this into the...
You don't, I mean, you don't have to read it into it. It does, I mean, the whereas is to give an explanation
Okay,
of what we're doing.
Whereas the County of Essex awarded 2011 Community Development Block Grant in the amount of $150,000 to the Neighborhood Child Care Center for the purpose of constructing the facility at 1 Pine Street for use as a daycare center, and whereas the Township of Montclair, by virtue of its lease of space where the facility is located, is a co-sub-recipient of the grant, and whereas as a condition of awarding the grant, the County of Essex required that the Township guarantee that the grant will be used for a national objective of the grant program for a period of 5 years from the date of closeout of the grant. And whereas the grant was distributed in progress payments to NCCC after NCCC submitted certified vouchers and invoices from R.J. Michaels and Company, Inc. And whereas NCC, upon receipt of funds from Essex County, was required to pay the funds over to the contractor within 3 days. And whereas NCCC received a check from Essex County on December 14, 2012 in the amount of $23,946.39 for payment to the contractor R.J. Michaels and Company, Inc. And whereas NCC converted the $23,946.39 for its own use, including payroll. And whereas despite several meetings, warnings, and opportunities to reverse its misuse of funds, NCCC failed to pay the contractor the final payment of $23,946.39. And whereas NCC did subsequently pay $8,000 to the contractor, and whereas the balance of funds taken by NCC amounting to $50,946.39 remains due to the contractor, and whereas the County of Essex, in collaboration with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, has demanded that the township comply with its guarantee and pay the balance of the funds to the contractor. And whereas the Township of Montclair and many nonprofit social service groups receive substantial benefits annually from the CDBG program, and whereas the township will fulfill its obligation to Essex County and HUD by paying the balance of the missing funds to R.J. Michaels and Company, Inc., and whereas the township terminated NCC's sublease on the Pine Street facility on April 12, 2013, and whereas because the taxpayers of Montclair are being required to pay for NCC's defalcation, the township is committed to attempt to recover the wrongfully taken funds from NCC and its individual officers and directors by all legal means. Now therefore be resolved that the Township of Montclair pay to RJ Michaels and Company, Inc., the sum of $15,946.39, conditioned upon the certification from the Chief Financial Officer that the funds are available. And I so move. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Councilor McMahon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rousseau?
Yes.
Councilor Stieber?
Yes.
Councilor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. And I think I should add one thing. The Township of Montclair has been involved in the CDBG program for 35 years. Distributed, I think, in the neighborhood, I know in excess of $5 million to various purposes. And just in the last 8 years, $1.6 million directly to agencies without a hiccup. And this is an unfortunate incident, and I think that just to kind of put it in perspective, I'm not saying that $15,000 isn't a significant amount of money, but I did get some comments about oversight and things like that, which we'll obviously work to improve. But I just think it's important to understand that in the context of the amount of money and the number of years that we've been involved in this program, this is the first instance of anything like this. And we'll tighten up our controls as a county, by the way. Let's tighten these controls even more so than we. But I just didn't want to put that in numbers in perspective. Roll call, please.
Councilor Baskerville? Wait, I'm sorry.
We did it already?
Yes.
We do a roll call now. We
We did a roll call.
This is rarefied air, Montclair State. Councilor Hurlock?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Jackson. Moving right along. I'd like to introduce a resolution appointing Bruce Bingham to the Capital Finance Advisory Committee for a term commencing immediately, terminating on December 31st, 2016, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a resolution authorizing, and I'll modify it as I read it here, though. This is a resolution also authorizing the potential license to property situated at 520 Bloomfield Ave, Block 2207, Lot 1, to encroach upon the township property dependent on an agreement execution by the township manager. And just to put it out there, this is the Carl's Appliances property that we're talking about here. As the township attorney has stated earlier, in total, there's approximately 47 square feet that the structure would be encroaching upon. Additionally, there are ongoing discussions with the owner to provide or contribute funds to the maintenance of South Park Street. Also, this agreement would be for a period of 20 years, or if there is a change in the structure, whichever is sooner. And again, just to reiterate a little of the conversation we had, this is dependent on an agreement that is reached with the manager pursuant to some ongoing discussions and, of course, potential review of the structure of payment in terms of a one-time payment or a recurring fee, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Councilor McMahon?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Councilor Stieber?
Yes.
Councilor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes. Bill list?
Thank you. Whereas invoices against the Township of Montclair in favor of the following persons for the amounts set opposite their respective names have been received, duly audited, and found correct. Therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Township of Montclair and the County of Essex that said invoices be, and they are hereby ordered paid, and that checks be drawn by the Finance Department to the order of such persons for the amounts respectively and hereinafter stated on computer printout attached hereto and made a part hereof. This bill list is dated June 18th, 2013, for the amount of $2,348,659.07, and I so move.
Second.
Discussion?
If I may answer the question by Councilor Spiller concerning the Christmas trees. Yes, those are Christmas trees. They're actually from invoices from January, so it was during the Christmas season. The invoices are just late. We're paying them now.
Okay.
Anything else on the bill? Roll call, please.
Councilor Baskerville?
Yes.
Councilor Hurlock?
Yes.
Counselor McNair?
Yes?
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes?
Counselor Slager?
Yes.
Counselor Spiller?
Yes.
Mayor Jackson?
Yes.
Thank you.
Reports and communications, Township Council. Anybody want to start? Anybody have anything?
I got something. First of all, I'd like to thank MSU. This is interesting. This is a great day. I have not been. This is important. I am pleased to announce that tomorrow, at roughly 10 a.m., the new ambulance is arriving that was voted on by the prior council. Yeah, just about a year ago. So it takes a little time, but I'm happy to receive that. And also report that the Montclair 2014, we can't say the word Super Bowl committee, had a meeting, and we're going to be actively participating in the 4th of July parade. That's the next time I've seen that.
Anyone else?
I think everybody's seen the article in the paper about the Senior Citizen Advisory Committee survey. If any residents who are over 55, that's your age that you have to be to answer the questionnaire, have not seen the survey or the questionnaire, you need a copy. You can get that at our town, through our town health department, which is overseeing the survey, and the SCACS, Senior Citizens Advisory Committee, is putting it together with results. So we'd still like input from residents over 55. I just wanted to get that out to everyone. If you haven't gotten your survey questionnaire in, or if you do want one, get in touch with the health department. We want everyone's input, and we want to have feedback from our residents who are over 55 so we can service you better and make sure that Montclair is a user-friendly home for our older residents. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor? Just a few items to note. We'll say that at the last Environmental Commission meeting, there was extensive discussion around recycling. So Councilwoman Schlager, I wanted to mention to you that it was brought up about potentially looking at certain parks as a sample to see what can be done and what the effect is and result is from doing something in a park. We will see where that goes and what our update is on that, but I did want to bring that and let you know that we did discuss that. The second thing, that there was a request that was made, and I think they then did forward it to the full council for a green team, quote-unquote green team member. So again, they did ask, before committing any of us to it, I asked how many meetings is it? What exactly does it entail? But they will be providing a little bit more information with that regard, and then of course we can determine who is able to sit in that capacity. So I wanted to remind everyone of that email as well. Additionally, I did have the opportunity to go to the last bid meeting. I saw that Luther Fleur was here before. They have a few different events going on. One of the ones that I would highlight is on June 22nd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're having a sidewalk stroll, which is really a lot of South Park Street, Church Street area, Bloomfield Ave, South Fullerton, in that area. A number of stores are participating, so if anyone is available on that date, there should be really some great activities and some wonderful sales that are going on during that time. And the last thing that I do want to mention is that on June 27th, there will be the next Third Ward community meeting, which will occur at the Bullock School from 7:30 to 9 p.m. So again, that's June 27th, 7:30 to 9 p.m. at the Bullock School will be the next Third Ward community meeting, and I hope to see many of the residents there. So, much.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor? Yes. First off, I want to welcome everyone to the First Ward. I'm also thrilled that we're meeting here this evening. Thank you, Montclair State University. Particularly, I also want to thank Julie Adams for helping us set this up. I also want to thank the town manager, the township clerk, and the township attorney for getting everything on the road and bringing all the files and all those invoices and all that other fun stuff. Thank you. We had a very successful meeting. I met with Mr. Everton Scott from PSNG regarding some of the First Ward power issues that we've been experiencing. We attended the second meeting of the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee before last. That also, the committee's doing good work there. Attended the UMBA meeting last week, the Upper Montclair Business Association. Met with several of the neighborhood groups who've had certain issues with trees, sidewalks, curbs, addressing those issues. Going forward, I'm looking forward to participating in the Montclair High School graduation. We've got several Eagle Scout ceremonies coming up this weekend, and I also look forward to participating in tomorrow morning. The Finance Committee will be meeting with the Capital Finance Advisory Committee about some of the capital finance issues that are coming up with the capital budget. We also have, Mayor Jackson and I will be attending the Neighborhood University Watch homeowners group meeting this week as well. Thursday night, we have the Montclair State University Community Committee meeting that we'll have up here at Montclair State. And again, I want to thank everyone for coming out today to take first board, and welcome. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Council President?
I also would just like to thank the administrative staff at Montclair State University for allowing us to be here. And I'd also like to congratulate our Mayor Jackson, who will be the keynote speaker for graduation. It's this coming Thursday, right, the 26th?
Yeah.
And that's going to be, I'm sure, a wonderful occasion for all of us. His daughter, Taylor, is graduating, and so he'll also have the ability to do that. So congratulations, Mayor Jackson.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to it, and yeah, good choice.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Also, in the second ward, last Saturday, the Friends of Watchung did a big cleanup in Watchung Plaza. There was mulching and cleaning, and it was really a huge effort. We also want to thank the local merchants around the area who gave us water and sandwiches, and it was really a great morning. Also, to piggyback on what Councilwoman Baskerville said, it is a wonderful time of year in Montclair at graduation time. Last week, I attended the scholarship assembly. I believe Deputy Mayor Russo was there with me, and it was quite an amazing evening for all the scholarships that our high school seniors received. Also, I was at last night's Board of Ed meeting, which was a little
Stacy?
yes, it was a little heated at times, as one of our speakers alluded to, but the highlight also of the evening was the Board of Ed awarded certificates to all of the athletes that participated in the spring sports this past season, and that certainly was very gratifying to see. And not only is graduation next Wednesday, and we have to hear our mayor, and he's going to look at the commencement speech that I'm sure he's writing, it's also the 26th anniversary of Project Graduation. And as all of you know, Project Graduation is an all-night alcohol, drug-free evening for all of our graduates. There's a bus ride around town where we all get to congratulate them and clap for them, and then they go off to an all-night party. We still need 3 more volunteers for the all-night party. We need 22 parent, adult. You don't have to be a parent. You could be any adult. And we are three people short. So if anybody out there still wants to stay up all night, you get a free T-shirt and dinner, and you get to be with these great seniors all night. Please email me or call me. We could surely use your help. And that's about it. Thank you.
Having done that, by the way, it's a great night, and it's a lot of fun, even though it's you go into about 4 or 5 in the morning. But then, speaking of graduations and anniversaries, this year happens to be the 100th anniversary of my grandmother's graduation from Montclair High School. So,
Wow.
besides seeing the mayor, I'm particularly honored to attend school.
That's very nice.
She graduated as Stella Aarons, but she died as Stella McMahon.
Mayor, just as Councilor Schlager reminded me that I wanted to mention the awards and the scholarships that were given out at the high school last week. I was privileged to present the Deshaun Johnson Scholarship, first one that they're presenting. That's the young man that died of a bus accident, an incident that happened a year ago. But his mother, Naomi, and I and the family presented the scholarship. So that's something that they're looking for people in town to contribute to. So if anyone wants to help, you can see our high school principal's office to make contribution to the Deshaun Johnson Memorial Scholarship Fund in memory of a young man who was a very good student, very great artist and singer and composer, and into the music field, and we lost him at a young age. He was hoping to go on to Montclair State and attended Essex County College and Montclair High School. So I'd encourage folks to contribute to that scholarship fund for Deshaun Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you. Township Manager?
Just quickly, I wanted to give the council an update on the progress at the Edgemont Pond. Currently, the wall is being constructed. About 75% of the wall has been installed. They anticipate that wall to be completed by June 28th. One issue they've been having, and we've all seen it, was the rain. Yes, June 28th. That's just the wall.
Okay.
One of the issues is the rain, and that's been slowing things up quite a bit. In addition to that, they expect in about a week or so the dredging work to be completed. And at that point, they will begin to test the dredge, and once they get the results back, they'll be able to move it off-site. They're hoping to do that mid-July, to have that start moving stuff off the site at that point.
That's good news. Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Grassick?
I don't have anything this evening, except I don't think my daughter would want me to be on that project graduation bus.
I understand.
Junior parents tend to do that.
That
Yes.
doesn't work.
Right.
Or people without children in the school.
Potential.
Madam Clerk, do you have anything?
I also would like to thank Montclair State University and especially Julie Adams. I realize I've been working with Julie Adams in different capacities now for 28 years. She looks the same.
Thank you. We're going to thank you all for coming. It's an unusual location, but I think it's interesting to do this from time to time. We're actually going to go into a closed executive session, and I would like to make a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't have the language for the executive session.